Bulavinaka, and welcome once again to another segment of Speak Your Mind on Gold FM. Now, this is live on radio and, of course, recorded for your viewing pleasure on FBC TV each Tuesday evenings at 10:30 in the evening. Now, last week around midday, midweek, I reckon, I came across an article, an innovative civic education leadership program about this particular program, which they used films to spread integrity and also anti-corruption messages as a lead up to the national election, and how this is being spearheaded by Transparency International Fiji. Now, it is in one of the dailies, and this got me interested in this particular program itself. So I have with me in studio, we've got Transparency International Fiji's representative. We've got Dr. Joseph Viramu. He is the consultant project specialist and also the youth integrity promotion of Transparency International Fiji. Dr. Viramu Bulavinaka, and thank you so much for joining us. And we've also got with us Mr. Savinatha Navainaitamba. He is the program and development officer of Transparency International Fiji. Mr. Navainaitamba, thank you so much for joining us on the show. All right. Well, first of all, Transparency International Fiji. Tell us a little bit more about the establishment.
Transparency International is part of the global coalition that is in more than 100 countries in the world. Our aim is to work and to promote integrity and to fight corruption and to encourage other institutions and people to fight corruption. The international movement is about 20 years now. We're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the movement, or last year, and it's been hasn't been as long here in Fiji.
All right. Now, this particular program, I believe, Dr. Viramu, you'll be more equipped to answer this for me. Tell us a little bit more about this program.
Thank you very much. The program we are running at Transparency International looks at, it's part of our youth integrity program, and it encourages, because the elections are coming up in September, we're encouraging young people to choose leaders who are more transparent and have integrity. So we've run a series of workshops that look at integrity and anti-corruption, transparent leadership, accountable leadership. And what we have done is we have facilitated the process so that the young people themselves, they themselves produce films that talk about these things, because we thought if we gave long lectures, it'd be boring for them. So this is what they've done through films. They're spreading the message of integrity.
All right. Now, other workshops, how many have you had, and how far was the reach for these workshops?
We've had them nationwide. Last year we had it in Savu for the whole Northern Division. We've also had it in Anandi for the whole Western Division. We've also had it at Nandave for the whole Central Division. That was last year. So this year we are sort of just going through the process again with workshops in Suva for the Central Division, at Tano Plaza, and at Hexagon in Nandi, just this month. Yeah.
How many days do the workshops normally last for?
They're quite intensive. They go for about 3 days per workshop. So they're very intensive, and we also work in the evenings.
Right. For the youth program that you have just discussed, do you guys reach only to secondary schools, or is it other youth clubs or other youth establishments?
Yes, although our target group are secondary school students, we certainly reach out to church groups, youth groups, social groups, sports groups. That's right, and school leavers also.
Okay. Mr. Save, you can tell us a little bit more about the what the people have been, the feedback that you've been getting on this particular program.
On this particular program, the feedback has been great from the young people themselves. They created their own page on Facebook, and the numbers are increasing. Dr. Ramu can talk a little bit about that, but the young people are talking among themselves. For us as an institution, this is a youth program. We have other things that we're working on. The Advocacy and Legal Advice Center that we have, and also the work that we are doing with institutions. So that's just one aspect of the work that we're doing. The idea of working with young people is really to work from one generation to another, to pass on the hopes and the concerns of the older people to the young people, so they do a little bit, particularly in relation to the elections in September.
Yeah. How long has it, well, when did this program first start? I remember you mentioned something around July. Dr. Viramu?
Sorry. Yeah, we started, actually it started in 2011.
Okay.
But it was just in sort of July last year that it picked up momentum. partly because of the elections of September. They picked up momentum. And although we are sort of adults here, us, young at heart, but it has been moved by young people, and they themselves have been the success of this program.
Right.
Okay.
You guys have just been looking at the overall
That's
function
right.
of
Yeah,
the
the
program.
project management and the project. That's right. Yeah.
Oh wow! What has the feedback been? Has it been positive? Have a lot of youths have been interested in the particular program itself?
Yes, certainly. The feedback has been overwhelming, not only from Fiji but the Pacific also, and we also get feedback from other countries in Europe and Africa. It has been great because the young people themselves are sort of controlling their social network pages, and we are sort of monitoring and just facilitating the process. But it has been overwhelming in the sense that there have been lots of views and responses to the films that they have produced on integrity, anti-corruption, and choosing the best leaders in the elections in September.
Wow, this must be something that I mean, of course, with youths, a lot of them have a lot to say, and just using this forum to be able to do that.
That's right.
Okay, now how did you come about organizing the? I believe this is where Chone's department is. But how was the Transparency International Fiji's involvement in the film shooting itself when they were going about doing the flash mobs as well as the film shoots?
Okay, our staff have been, Chone Singila, he'll appear later, has been trained in this in Tahiti on the CBA, and he has been sort of the key behind this, plus our communications section, and they've been working with the young people in teaching this. And we have also, with our own skills, we have also helped them with the civic education aspects and other aspects of the democracy education aspects, and we've sort of just put them together to be able to work on this and make their own films. Yeah.
Do you have a good young team as well with Transparency International?
We have mainly young people. We're just bringing.
I mean, no offense to no offense to you, but I mean, with this particular program itself,
there are more young people in our Transparency International team than older people. The idea is to mix the two a little so that we can look at addressing institutions, because the young people don't have that history, and systemic reform. So there are a lot of people with experience, because our idea is that you have to be a leader to train another leader.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's good for young people. That's why you have older people teaching in schools to pass on. But we let the young people be themselves and do what they want to do.
Whose idea was it to use this forum? Was it one of the? Was it the young group in your establishment?
This forum came up as a recommendation in a youth integrity survey that was conducted from 2011. So it's evidence-based kind of intervention.
Yeah.
Joe is more familiar with this because he helped to work on the survey results from 2011, particularly the secondary research. The primary research had been done earlier. And one of the recommendations is to use these forms, Media Smart and films and social media, because young people are interested.
That's true. That's true.
And the integrity message sometimes can be heavy. Yeah. So they do it in the way that only young people can appreciate.
Exactly. Well, we'll come back and we'll be asking Mr. Viramu a little bit more about this survey. But if you just joined us, you're on Speak Your Mind. And if you have questions for our guests in studio, feel free to call us on 3220-906 or 907, or you can even text us on 825. We're heading into a break, but we'll be back with more, so stay with us. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind. I'm your host, Serafina Wedlock. Now, in studio once again with us is Transparency International's guest speaker, Mr. Savinatha Nathanaithamba. He's the Program and Development Officer of TI Fiji. And we've also got Dr. Joseph Viramu, who is the Consultant Project Specialist as well as the Youth Integrity Promotion of TI Fiji as well. Now, Mr. Viramu, before the break, you told us, you mentioned something about the survey. Now, because this is where the whole program started, for using that forum. Tell us a little bit more about the survey.
Yeah, thank you, Serafina. The survey started in July 2013, and it was a nationwide survey, and it involved over 1,000 young people. And we asked them questions about their perceptions on corruption in Fiji, on integrity, and they did bring up a number of issues about how they had faced corruption and various other issues. But one of the key findings was that they felt that there should be more outreaches on integrity and anti-corruption issues and civic education and democracy, and that was brought up. And one of the mediums or the ways in which they felt it could be better accepted by young people, who make up 57% of our population, is through films, social media, and these other techno ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And the survey was conducted by Transparency International Fiji?
That's right. It was conducted by young people. The young people themselves were surveyed, and those taking part were young people. That's right. Yeah.
How long did the survey go on for?
The survey went on for about a month,
Okay.
and they did get a lot of data, and that was analyzed, and it was put into a research form. Yeah.
And this was youths right across the country?
That's right, yeah, a nationwide survey. Yeah.
Wow. And this was using Transparency International resources? You
That's
had
right,
your
yeah.
staff members and...
That's right, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay. So that was how the whole concept came up, as well as using that
That's
forum.
right, yeah.
Okay. And where did, well, I'll probably ask this to Chon later on. Now, but so far it's been good. And this is something that you're looking at to have like ongoing over the next few years, or just is it just as a lead up to the elections?
No, definitely. We will certainly be having ongoing issues on integrity and anti-corruption issues. Because these are issues that we keep coming up again and again, and we need to address them. That's right, yeah.
And you have a site, a website that they can log on to if they want to find out a little bit more about this?
Yes, we've got our Transparency International Fiji website. We also have the Transparency International Facebook. But the more popular one that the young people go to is their own site, the Teens with Integrity / Youth Against Corruption. That is the site, the Facebook site.
Is this a voluntary organization that anyone could join up, or do you have to be registered?
Yes, definitely. You can be people can be members of Transparency International, or they can be volunteers, like the young people. They are just volunteers, and there is a fee to pay, of course, if they wish to, but they can just come and volunteer and be part of the movement on integrity and anti-corruption.
How has the response been from the schools with this particular workshops that you have? Did you have to go through the schools to conduct the workshops that you had?
Yes, definitely. We had to go through the schools and the Ministry of Education, and they have been very, very supportive. We also had to go through the police department for the permits, and the students also have been very, very supportive. It has been overwhelming, their responses.
So they had to select a certain number of students to go for it, or were the students, or did the whole school, or did some of the particular students had to come?
We asked the school to select students who would benefit from these themes. But we also allowed young people through our Facebook pages to also apply to take part. And they had to write a small essay, short one, explaining, and then we made our choices from that.
So you also had a selection process?
That's right, yes.
Oh, wow. And how has the response been from the public before you conducted the workshops on your sites?
Yeah, in Fiji, I think there's a huge interest and curiosity about these issues. And yes, it has been overwhelming. There's a lot of interest in it. On the sites, that's right, yeah.
Okay. Has the workshop been beneficial as well for Transparency International?
Definitely, in spreading the message on integrity and anti-corruption and transparent and accountable leadership. It certainly has been useful also for Transparency International in Fiji, in seeing the ways in which it should pass the message and deal with the public.
Mr. Nathane Tamba, what do you reckon? Do you think that the workshop should only be limited to youths, or is there plans to also have this for also workplaces or workforce? We
are also working on programs to engage the institutions, which means because we're in the process of product development at this stage. So we want to work on institutions and also communities. And also to be able to cover the whole of Fiji. We're just testing the products at the moment.
Right.
So we're working, we're trying to interest the Ministry of Education in that. And we're proposing a project now to be able to work with adults also. But we already, we've done a survey now on the anti-corruption landscape, working with FICAC and other institutions engaging. That's why you have the older people as well as young people. Ones. Young people can do their workshops and the things the young people will want to do. We want to engage the institutions where the senior leaders are involved, and it's easier for older people to engage these people. So it's certainly we want to be able to go to the whole of the country to engage some of the systemic issues.
All right, nice. So far, the year has just begun. Okay, what are the plans? Plans have Transparency International have in place?
For us, the plans are to carry on some of these workshops. We're talking to our supporters about the other work that we do, but we had a workshop last year for staff just to look at our monitoring and evaluation plan and also our results framework. So we're looking at what we want to do in terms of transparent and accountable leadership and institutions. Look at also our global commitments. And what we want to do is to be able to do some work in the community in the preparation for the election and also the work after the election, because some of the serious work needs to be done after the election. Our financial year begins in March, but so we are now just finalizing our plans. For the year, which we started to do last year. But certainly we will engage adults and institutions and the young people, both in the preparation for the election and the work on transparent and accountable leadership after the election.
All right. Now, so far, 2013, when did Transparency International, when were you guys, when did you first start?
In the
1999.
1999.
Yeah.
From then till now, have you seen your establishment grow as far as staff members or even volunteers?
Yes, we've grown because we started with volunteers in the private sector, and
Right.
it's moving towards more public sector involvement now. And the staff came pretty recently, so we are really, as an organization, developing, and we're excited about the potential to do work, first with the young people and also with institutions, and also the governance institutions, and also with communities.
Okay, well that sounds promising, and I'm sure you'll grow even bigger and better, especially coming towards the elections and afterwards as well. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. That actually ends this segment, but we've got Mr. Chone coming up as well, and we'll also have Chowana, who's also one of the choreographer at one of these film shoots and also flash mobs. Well, we'll talk to you again, hopefully in the coming year before the elections.
Thank you very much.
Until then, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Vinaka. We're heading into a break once again, but we'll be back with more. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind, and we're joined once again in studio with Chone Singila. He's the communications assistant of Transparency International Fiji, and we've also got with us Miss Chowana Githa, who is a former student of St. Joseph's Secondary School, and she will be attending USP this year. But she also was one of the choreographers for the flash mob on integrity and anti-corruption. Now, Chone, once again, welcome to the two of you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Now, Chone, tell us a little bit more about yourself and also how you got involved in this project in the beginning.
How I joined TIFG, I was doing nothing at home, relaxing and stuff, and one of my cousins called me up to join up TIFG as a volunteer. So from there till now, I'm still with TIFG since 2011. My strong background was through media. Well, I didn't learn it in tertiary. It's just more about experience and learning through on internet, because internet is everything there.
Yeah.
So I'm good at documentaries, how to do documentaries. I learn about documentaries. I joined up with 15 participants around the Pacific in Tahiti.
Yeah.
Last year on Feb. There was 3 in Fiji. I went with Enoch Maram and Myron Williams. It was a big honor to go with famous people in Fiji. The faces around Fiji TV, and and so to go out to Tahiti is to learn about documentaries and writing scripts and stuff. It was a big boost for me to pull up my socks. So it was supported by Commonwealth the Commonwealth Broadcasting Association
CBA,
and the PACMAS, which is a Pacific Media Assistance Camp. So they're big help from them taking us across to Tahiti.
All right. So how long was the training for?
Our training was a solid 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more on little bit of theory and more on practical work on hands-on camera and stuff.
All right.
Mm.
Now, I believe you were the main person behind this film shoots and also the flash mob.
Yes.
Okay, tell us, how has the project been? How did you actually have to come up with everything? And were you involved with going out to the schools and also for the workshops?
Yes. Came back from Tahiti. I changed it, trying to give back to TIFG because they helped me to go across in Tahiti. So what I did to change it a little bit. In Fiji, it's really expensive to buy those big cameras. Cost more than 1,000. So I changed a little bit to come. 57% students. Children. They used to mobile phones. So
Right.
I changed it around for them to use to shoot through their mobile phones, even the tablets.
Yeah.
So it's a basic way, and then teaching them how to edit through the basic Microsoft Movie Maker, even the Mac, which is called Final Cut Pro. So um, I teach them through what I've learned from
Yeah.
Tahiti,
Yeah.
but teach them through the basic way of writing script as well.
Okay. So all this was part of the training during the workshops with
Yes,
the
during
students.
the training workshop, they really like it. The students, what they did, they write their own script
Wow.
to do a flash mob. Even the dramas.
Mm.
Achoana, my colleague here is she choreographed the flash mob in Suva, so it was a big thing here in Suva as well.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the flash mob? What was the experience like trying to choreograph the flash mob for this?
Well, okay, we were given a theme that was integrity and anti-corruption, so we had to base the flash mob on that particular theme.
Mm-hmm.
And so the choreography for the flash mob was a collaboration of ideas of young people, and those namely Johnny and Victorious Woolley and Dennis and Lucy Tupo. And I'd say that it was a privilege working with them, because if it wasn't for their commitment and cooperation, I believe the flash mob wouldn't have been a success.
Okay.
But it was a success. And yes, so the song that we had chosen was Jessie J, Price Tag.
Right.
Reason being is because most of the corruption cases nowadays are basically based on money.
Yeah.
So we strongly believe that we had to highlight this issue. And yes, the experience was fun and enjoyable.
Mm.
It was quite tiring practicing, but then the flash mob leaders, they had a few weeks to practice before the actual date of us to teach the participants, that is. And we had 47 participants.
Oh, so
from
47 altogether.
Yes.
Mm.
From different institutions around the Central Division, and it was an honor teaching them. And to some of them, it was their first time to take part in a flash mob. And on their behalf, I'd say that they had also enjoyed themselves, and it was a learning experience for all of them.
Were you guys able to understand the message while producing all this together? Did you get a better understanding of what the message itself was about?
Yes, we did. When it comes to integrity and anti-corruption, the message, it was clearly told to the public, to the audience that we were trying to spread the message to. And yes, the lyrics itself, it had a lot of message based on corruption and integrity when it comes to money.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, the message was...
It must have been a challenge
Yes,
trying to get 47 people to...
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
The thing is, we divided ourselves into groups
Okay.
of probably a maximum of 12 in one group.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that was how we taught the participants.
All right. Now, when did you guys actually perform?
We were given time to practice this during the workshop, the 3D workshop that was held at Town Hall Plaza from January 8th to the 10th.
Yeah.
And yes, it was a success.
Nice. And how long did it take for you to actually practice together?
We were given 30 minutes a day, and we actually.
So after that
did
3-day
everything.
workshop, you had to present the flash mob.
Yes, at the end of on the last day.
Wow, must have been a challenge. Okay, for the film shoot itself, how many students were involved in this altogether
During the shooting.
during the shooting?
So there's a help from Sevuloni and Justin.
Mm-hmm.
I asked them to be our extra hand on camera.
Right.
So we use 4 cameras, including iPhone.
All right.
So iPhone is it has a good pixel on it. So we had different angles. We use basic stuff, like we use the trucks to take us around, like climbing on the tree
Yeah.
to move around. So it's just about using your brains. So if you don't have so much gadgets, you can use this basic stuff. It was even through this flash mob and videos. It's better to share the gospel. I mean, not the gospel. Sorry, it's to share the about anti-corruption and accountability, because the media is really powerful around Fiji and around the world as well. So this is the best way to do it. Even it's not easy. It's not easy doing it. So, but we managed to succeed in Suva and in Nandi as well.
Exactly. Now, how many students altogether? How many schools altogether did you came for the workshop and actually took part in this?
There was 47 students came for this this workshop training. Where it was held in Tanwa, and in the west was a bit 40 plus.
Oh wow,
as well.
That's a big number. Okay, well we'll be we'll be talking to them a little bit more. So if you just joined us, once again you're on Speak Your Mind. We're heading to a break, but we'll be back with more. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind, and I'm your host, Sarafina Wedlock. Now, once again, we're talking to Transparency International's Chone Singila, who's the communications assistant, as well as our new guest. Chowana was with us earlier, but we've got Mr. Dennis Tupo. Now, Dennis is actually a former student of Murray's Brothers High School, and he will be attending Fiji National University this year. Now, he acted in 3 films on integrity and anti-corruption and can talk about his experience on the show. Now, Dennis, thank you and welcome to the show. And Chone, thank you so much once again for being with us. Now, tell us a little bit more about your experience on the on this particular film shoot, and also on the message itself. Did it do a lot for you personally?
Yes. I did act in 3 films, and before acting it, I was always a shy person who didn't want to come in front of the camera,
right?
And a person who never really talks, like will just sit in front of the camera and just stare. And in the first film that I acted in, it was actually an interview with Johnny Singila. He actually just took me and just interviewed me, and just told me just asked me what were to tell me something about myself, and believe it or not, all I did was just say yes, no, yes, no,
Right.
and after the film, he actually took me one corner, and he told me, Dennis, this is just you and me. When you go back inside there, think of just you and me, and think of a place that's where there's no one, just for you and me. And then when I went back inside there, I just thought of that. I thought of him encouraging me, and then and that's where how I got my confidence.
All right. So, Chane, this was basically your actor's guide 1-on-1 with the students.
With Dennis, shooting him on camera for his first time. I saw him with, you can tell on his face that he's really shy. So I tried to calm him down and just like what he said, it's just me and you. If you're shy that I'm looking at you, I'll look away, but the camera will be looking at you.
Right.
So I told him, it's just a normal talk, like how you talk to your parents, how you talk to your friends, like normal conversation. Not too hard words for you to give me, just all the simple words. So we did it how many times, then the last time he managed to do it.
Nice.
And then it was a really big challenge for him as well, and for me to train such a amazing person. It was I was thankful to be beside him doing this.
Nice. So all this were done during this workshop.
Yes.
And so you guys had the workshop, and this was part of the workshop, was shooting, writing your own scripts and film for the particular shoot, and also getting the participants to take part in the film shoot itself. Now, for the students, like you said, there were 40 from the West,
Yep,
and
plus-
there were 47 from here.
Yep.
Okay, so there's two separate workshops
Yep.
that you were involved in. Now, for the students that took part in the particular workshop, now all 47 of them, they also participated in the film itself.
Yes. There was groups that did posters,
Okay.
singing. There's a group singing and doing social media, and there's two groups in doing film smart. So what we divided them into groups. Whoever wants to go to doing drawings and posters, whoever wants to go for the singing.
Okay.
So they most of young student came to me and asked to be an actor. So so I told them, okay, sure, we'll do something for you. Then and Sevuloni and Justin, I asked them to do one group as well, just to about bullying.
Yeah.
That's where Dennis came in to act in his second shoot on about bullying.
Right.
So mine was it was a simple one, just about how corruption deals, not in business or even companies. It can be brought to home as well.
Yes. Yes.
The little like to bribe other people. So that's my shoot for the young kids.
Right.
They were really talented people. They were amazing people. To do this in front of the camera, it was a big thing for me. First time, I really don't like talking in front of cameras and
Right.
stuff. It was once again, it was amazing to do this for them as well.
Man, of course. It must have been challenging, though,
Yep.
having to deal with 47 different personalities
Yep.
coming in, trying to gauge an understanding of the theme itself, integrity and anti-corruption, and trying to put that and portray that into posters,
Singing, yeah,
singing, films,
in social media.
and flash mobs in
Yep.
social media. Now, you have put this up all on your Facebook site, I believe?
Yes, it's on our Teens with Integrity
Teens with Integrity.
/ Youth Against Corruption. It's a Facebook page. It's an open page. You can comment. You can post anything if you wanna. Kids out there, if you wanna put something that's useful to other kids, to help other kids as well, it's an open page. You can join up. Yep.
How is the response from the students? Like, for you, Dennis, what was your personal experience? Did you, from the workshop, did you get a better understanding of what it means to be to be a person of integrity, and also again understand anti-corruption a little bit more from the workshop itself?
Yeah. Before the workshop, I used to sit at home and see corruption as something that I didn't care about.
Right.
I mean, it's just out there,
Right.
and I didn't really look into it as something that I need to care for. And when I went into the workshop and I learned more about integrity and anti-corruption, I learned that citizenship. From there, citizenship is the right of being a citizen,
Yeah.
and I have a right of being a citizen of Fiji, and it is my duty as a citizen of Fiji to care more about to care more about my country and report anything that is out of the ordinary. For example, if there's a corruption happening under my nose, will I just stand there and just look? Or will I go there and will I report it to FICAC or go to Transparency International office and tell them about it? So it was really a learning experience, and something that really did for me is that it also deepened my faith.
Yeah.
And as a Christian, I got more faithful to my rosary,
Yeah.
and somehow this has made me want to take part and stop all this.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll talk more to Dennis and Shawnee. We're actually heading into a break, and we'll be back with our final segment. Well, and welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, and that's live on radio Monday from 12 to 1, and recorded and viewed for you, our viewers, on FBC TV at 10:30 this evening. Well, we're actually talking, it's our final segment for the hour, and we're talking once again to Transparency International. Chone Singila is the communication assistant, and we've also got one of the participants as well as one of the actors that took part in the short film that they have been, that they shot in regards to portraying the message on integrity and anti-corruption. Gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for being on the show. Now, Chone, tell us a little bit more about the workshop. Now, I know you've had, you conducted one in the West and also one here. Now, what was the response from the students like? What was the response? Was all of them talking about it? Were they spreading the message amongst their peers, apart from those that actually made it to the workshop itself?
Yes, the first workshop that was held last year in Nandave during July, during the breaks, the 2 weeks breaks. From then till now, they've shared the news to other students to come and join TIFG, the youth workshop. So that's how we get how we get other students to be involved in this. Which we started from Nandave. We went to the west, and then we went to the north as well. So from there, from the students, they even we didn't know that they're gonna tell other students to come join for the later training. So that's how we get to reach our main targets, like 47, even almost to 60 students.
So it started out small,
it
turned out really big.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, you did one in the north, one in the west, and also one in Nandave. Now, so each workshop, they had to do, the participants had to take part in this.
Yes.
Either the short film, the flash mob, as well as the posters and the singing. Wow, so they must have been really interested. I mean, especially the gang in the north there.
Yeah, the north, doing this, for them to do this, it was really a challenge for them.
Right.
They're really bright students. They're really amazing students as well. Because I'm used to Suva and used to the west as well. Going to the north, it was a big challenge for me to see, new students as well. They may not good in the English, but they understand what we talk about, even through films. So, because through theory, it's really boring for them.
Right.
What we change it is to do a short film for them, so they really understand what we're talking about. Because from different small action can lead to a big action.
That's right. What was the response been like on your gang's page? Have you had a lot of feedback?
Yes, now we have more than 1,000 friends.
Wow.
With teens with teens with an integrity. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We started small. We had no one interacting on our Facebook page, but now we have more than 1,000 students that are sharing the accountability, integrity, and anti-corruption. That's really good. Not for us in TIFG. It's really good with other countries.
Because you're spreading the message, you're getting the message across. Now, with the workshop itself, like you said, it's talking about educating youths on also to be good leaders.
Yes.
Now, have you had participants that would just say, yes, I'm ready to run for elections this year, I'm ready to vote for... have you had that feedback?
Yes, I had a good feedback from the West and Suva. So... like I said before, it's not easy to elect a person. If your relatives, it's not fair for other people. It's better to read the background, what they did and what they do. So to be a fair election for coming September.
All right. Yeah. Now you've had to work a lot with these students. Overall, how many participants have you guys had for these workshops overall, like for the West, the North, and also the Central Division?
I lost count on how many years. There's so many students. So many students around Fiji, and they're really bright students. Yeah.
Okay, well, Dennis, you actually mentioned a film that you created as well as acted in, and the one on bullying. Now, you also said how you actually related to the film itself. How has it been? What was the experience like for you shooting this film, the one on bullying?
For me, it was it was an issue. Okay, I was actually John, the bullied one,
Right.
and okay, in my childhood, I was not really, I wasn't really bullied, or no one really bullied me. So I didn't really know what it felt like.
Right.
So to really stand in that person's shoes and see from his point of perspective of what he was going through, it was really a challenge for me. And I was actually the bullied one, and the group of students that were bullying me were actually prefects.
Right.
And one thing that I didn't like about them was they were hypocrites.
Right.
I mean, they would go into the General Assembly and talk about integrity and respect, how we should respect each other. But them themselves,
Right.
they are not being good role models. They are not being good examples. So
it was films like this that you guys were coming up with, that you were creating it on your own, writing your own scripts, the dialogue, everything.
Yes. So we actually wrote the scripts, and it was being edited by this Johnny Single and the stuff. And one thing that that I really didn't like about this was that the corruption was happening right there.
Yeah.
And they were bullying me because I was secretly it was Rita.
Yeah.
And I secretly admired her.
Okay.
And that was really an emotional experience, because I really felt sorry for those people who got bullied.
Yeah.
And which didn't have a say.
Would you say this related to you? I mean, like to the scenario in school as well? Did that concept come from something that you know does practice in school, basically?
Oh, yes. Something in school.
Like maybe not bullying, but probably abuse of power.
Yeah.
Using your leadership to get to do other things.
There has been an abuse of power with people that, for example, a prefect was not really following his duty as a person of integrity, but because he was always abusing his power as to come in and just take people's money.
Oh,
And
okay.
but we've had the incident, and we've had that how do you say, we've debased that person.
Yeah. Okay, so you, like I said, it's experienced from school as well. All right. Well, that's just slowly wraps up our program for today. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for coming in. And you'd like to plug in that Teens with Integrity before we wrap up?
Yeah. You can come up to Facebook, Teens with Integrity / Youth Against Corruption. There's so many young people, so many amazing people that's talking about anti-corruption and talking about integrity as well.
All right. Well, that slowly brings us to the end of the program. We sure hope you enjoyed the program today. And like we mentioned, okay, check out this page. This is a compilation of the workshops that they've conducted, coming up with short films, posters, singing, as well as flash mobs that they've recorded and put into this site that you can check on the social media network, Facebook. But yes, that will Speak Your Mind for today. Until next week, Monday, you have a pleasant day and Mwademanda.